Hey guys, let me know if this sounds familiar to you, okay?
Imagine suffering a plane crash above the ocean, with only you and one other passenger surviving. Both of you get washed up on a deserted island, with nothing but sandbanks and palm trees. Once you wake up on the shore and look around, you notice the other survivor's footprints. Looks like he woke up before you. As you explore the island, you find him sitting on a huge pile of coconuts. Turns out, while you were unconscious, he went around and collected every single coconut on the island for himself. Coconuts that you would also need if you don't want to starve. Of course, you could go and try your luck catching some fish along the shore, but according to statistics, 9 out of 10 startup fishermen end up dying of hunger in the end. The coconuts are your only realistic chance at survival. So you ask him, can you give me some coconuts, please? And he says, sure, I can give you some coconuts. If you suck my dick. You are faced with a conundrum.
I will, of course, be suing. No. I think this is wonderful. I think this is delightful. Adam Something's channel has been popping off lately. I think, yeah, their Dubai video, 8.3 million views in 1 week, which is like insane, unbelievable, unimaginable channel pop-off status. That's like beyond, this like, it's like the stratosphere, you know? That's, you know? Do they at least credit you? Yeah. Right here in the thing. The coconut example is taken, i.e. shamelessly copied, from Vosh's debate with Adam Kokesh, and even links it. And that's awesome. And honestly, I don't even care about the credit that much, because it's just cool seeing the analogy. I came up with this analogy off the fly, but I don't think it's, like, worthy of academic credentials or whatever, but I legitimately think it's a really, really great way at underlining the difference between positive and negative freedom, the implicit coercive elements of scarcity and of capitalism, you know, and that it's fairly understandable, and that it's funny, and it's evocative, and it gets people entertained and interested. So I think it's a good thing, you know? Also, there are a bunch of people in the comments who are saying, like, oh my god, it's Vosh, including, hey, me, wow. Alden's coconut theory. Yeah. So on and so forth. Dick sucking is just always on your mind, isn't it, Vosh? Well, I'm a leftist. I mean, it's kind of our thing. Yeah, that analogy is going to outlast me, by the way, you know? That analogy is going to, like, long after I'm dead, you know, like, future space economists are going to be debating each other with, like, cyber glasses or something, and they'll be like, let's say you crash on an island, and the other guy will be, like, quaking because they're not ready for this one. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Howdy.
Very nice. Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing
It's
wonderfully.
insane to be on. Jesus fucking Christ.
It is a delight to have you here. We were all taken aback by the just what a wonderful and salient analogy you deployed in the intro of your most recent video.
Thank you. I came up with it myself, believe it or not.
All right. So how does it wait, would you consider yourself a part of LeftTube? I'm asking for self-ID reasons.
Yeah. Obviously, yes. Like, my ideas are absolutely putting me to the left.
How does it feel to have, in 1 week, produced the largest video on LeftTube?
Pretty cool. Well, you know, thank you all my viewers. But I mean, I actually thought about that, because of course, like, going from 0 to 8.6 billion or something is like pretty, like, it's like, oh, whoa. I just came on and I was like, wow, okay, so that's new. But, like, the thing is, first off, like, thanks for everyone who watched the video, like, and the discussions that came out of it were, like, super nice and super beneficial, I think, to everyone. And I would just say the real credit, though, goes to, like, not to me. Like, I can take maybe like 1% of the credit, because I just, like, compiled stuff together, you know, from Human Rights Watch and Guardian. So, like, the credit goes to the journalists and Human Rights Watch and everyone who's, like, basically risking their careers and or their own skin in Dubai to, you know, report on these things. So all I did was just, like, put it together in a flashy video, and it must have struck a chord, about which I'm pretty happy. So
yeah. I'd say so. It definitely did. Those idiots, they haven't even considered making a YouTube channel and simply getting millions of views discussing the subjects they've spent their lives researching.
Yeah, I know, right? So I'm the only big brain. I'm just kidding.
It is a delight to have you here. I mean, I think through some contrivance or another, I was made aware that you are familiar with my content. I, of course, have been familiar with your content for some time. but you are certainly taking off now, and you're going to continue to take off in the future as well. So how does that feel?
Well, it feels actually, yeah, that's an interesting question. So I've reflected on it a lot lately, and I found that okay, it's nice, but let's contextualize the success. It's super nice. I'm really really glad. I'm very glad that my voice is out there, and it's affecting. It's affecting people's lives, or like at least people's political opinions, which will perhaps then go on and affect people's lives in for the better. I hope. So, but my idea to ground myself is that okay, this is super nice. Now I am in like mid-tier YouTube because, you know, let's face it, like the biggest players are like, you know, the Steven Crowders and all these other dumb fucks on YouTube. Like,
Mhm.
How many subs do they have? Like 5 million or something?
5
Yeah,
million
like
or so, yeah.
yeah, I know. So of course, success needs to be sort of held in context, but still, it's super good. Like in the context of LeftTube, I was like, I'm speechless, basically. But still, I made a promise. I'd like to just reiterate this quickly. Like I made a promise for myself and to my audience that I will. And actually, I wrote it to my community tab if someone wants to read it out or like read it. That I will make videos. I'll be putting out content only if the following two criteria are met. This is no matter what.
Mhm.
A, I feel like I really want to say something, and B, I'm in the mood for making a video. So I think this should protect me from just like putting up stuff for just for the sake of it, or you know, for ad revenue or whatever. So
That's your Sigma male grind set, you might say.
oh no, yeah, yes, yeah, I did watch that video of yours. I mean, okay, yeah.
No,
Great video, by
I
the way.
think it's delightful. There's a degree of artisanship to it that I don't think is that common on YouTube these days, at least not from people like me. I stream. I mean, when I stream, I have to stream a certain number of hours every month, or, you know, I get bored, and content
Yeah,
is
yeah.
taken from my stream. There's always going to be a limited level of forethought and time investment in any one of my videos. You're not in that position, of course. You have the opportunity to decide what to cover and how much time you want to spend on a given project. In a lot of ways, I envy you because there are elements of that that I've always enjoyed. I'm happy with how I conduct my content right now. There are things about that that I find incredibly appealing. Not the least of which is the fact that your bomb ass videos can get 8 million views. Jesus Christ. I I I think the thing that makes me happiest about that video and about the others you've provided as well is that it taps into an element of left political advocacy that is often underexplored and that everyone can relate to. And it's that people have a general feeling that there's something wrong with the way society is run right now. You know, they blame a
Yeah,
million
right, right.
things. Yeah, they blame a million things. Some people say like women are too liberated. Some people say it's the, you know, the grinding onslaught of capital interests, but everyone kind of feels the problem, the grind. And by describing those problems in ways which open people to left analysis, you are doing so much to give people like a foot in on these ideas so that a person's introduction to the left or to left economic ideas isn't some Stalinist on Twitter talking about how the kulaks deserved worse, you know. It's a
Yeah.
basic material analysis of the ways in which the interests of capital can contradict like human life.
Yes, lest we start selling pencils from a cup.
Precisely.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
just
but
saying
yeah.
it's a very worthwhile you know, practice.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thanks for the compliment. Actually, that's what I figured as well. Like, I have this like not feeling, actually belief, more like, which is kind of feeling, but that's sort of people normally, if we would not have the Steven Crowders of the internet or the other like demagogues and shouty men, like people bad faith actors out there, then people would kind of like naturally tend towards leftism, and like in. Or actually, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable enough making that assessment. But anyway, what I'm doing, what I realized I was doing with my videos, because you know, at first I just did it for like shits and giggles. Yeah, I had some shit to say. I was like, okay, let's roll, let's put out a video. But what I realized later on was that hey, the way I'm putting out, and this was complete accident, basically. The way I put out videos is exactly the recipe for like sort of dosing these everyday, very intuitive, very common sense, very defensible realizations to essentially normies or like people who are like somewhat disaffected, and so sort of turning them towards the left with the promise that, hey, there's going to be more of these sort of intuitive solutions to these very real problems, which I also acknowledge. So I think I would that's how I would assess the situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Essentially,
It's so often because unfortunately, social issues are very contentious for reasons that aren't really logical. You know, something like BLM, you can make the best defense of BLM in the world, but it's always going to be a controversial video if exposed to a general audience. Same with a lot of trans issues, you know. But with economic stuff, if you talk about like, here are the way business interests are making our cities harder to live in, everyone will get behind that. And the way you analyze that sort of directs people's attention from there. There are videos like that on the right, but those videos are essentialist. They talk about Western culture, they talk about immigration, they talk about
right, right.
demographics, and they assign the blame for civilizational decay onto it, sometimes very implicitly, you know, but nonetheless, brown people or immigration or feminism or whatever. But a structural analysis will always lead people, I think, towards more reasonable solutions. And if you get amicable to that and your first intro to the left is stuff like that, then maybe you're more willing to be sold on the progressive issues as well.
Exactly, exactly. 100% agree. And yeah, I would say actually, yeah, and these shouty men, like the ones you talked about, and I talked about, like these were the people who I was just like part of this like sort of boiling desire when I first started putting out videos was to just sort of combat these idiots of like, you know, the Steven Crowders, the Pajama Botsos, and the other you know, dumb fucks, I guess. Because actually, something very interesting that I might share, like, do you have any idea what it's like to listen to these like mostly American or sometimes Canadian charitably far right individuals talk about like European culture as a European? Like that's such a mind fuck, because like they're talking about this thing which it's like, okay, this analogy I just thought of, like it's like, imagine a Japanese person listening to like West Coast weeaboos talk about their idea of Japan.
And
That's
in their high schools, sometimes the student council presidents have great fighting prowess, which they'll use to exert superiority over their students, you know, or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Something
right,
like that.
exactly. Yeah, and then like everyone rides horses, and everyone's like, you know, I don't know, fuck.
Well, I
Like so,
see.
yeah, so
I've never been to Europe, but I know how fucked these analyses are because I have European like extended relatives, and they're Europe is like a super diverse mishmash of cultures, but they just it's like, oh, it's white Europe, you know, they treat all of Europe like it's some big homogenous block of Western civilization.
yeah. Actually, like within Europe, there's a problem with the hierarchy within white people. Like, if you go to, like, currently I live in Germany, there's a hierarchy of like, okay, there's a workplace and there's a bunch of sort of employees from all over Europe. So these are people born in Europe. They are genetically European, quote unquote, and they are white as snow. There's a hierarchy. Germans come first, then second are like, you know, Czechs and like the people in the area. Sort of Polish people are already like one rung below, and then at the bottom of the barrel are usually like the poorest countries, which are, you know, like Romanians, Ukrainians, Moldavians. They are like, and like they're Snow White, and they are still treated like measurably worse, and sometimes they even live on the fringes of society, like kind of like how illegal immigrants in the U.S. And by the way, just as a European, once again, just a little input. I find it really fucking rich when like American shouty men complain that like, oh my god, these immigrants are coming in from the south, you know, like from South America, and it's like, yeah, dude. So you have like conservative Christian Spanish speaking people coming to your borders. Yeah, that's called the French Spanish border in Europe. What the fuck is the problem with that?
Yeah,
Like,
it's funny too because I've heard like for European people, they don't differentiate themselves from each other using terms like white, really. I mean, they're
no,
familiar
no, no,
with
no.
it, but for the most part, it's national and ethnic differences that they get
Exactly,
divided along.
exactly.
Here in America, like they'll say, oh yeah, there's white people, black people, Asian people, and Hispanic people. And in America, that is a fairly descriptive sort of summary of racial dynamics here. But I mean, at least from the people from Europe that I know, I've never heard them use those terms. They always say nationalities. But even here, like in America, when talking about people from Europe or Africa, nobody talks about the countries or ethnicities. They only ever talk about races. Whereas my British friends, they'll talk about like the differences between Polish and Romanian people. And I don't fucking know the difference. I'm Polish, half at least. I don't know the
Yeah,
difference
yeah.
between Polish and Romanian people. I'll never know. It doesn't matter here in America.
By the way, there's is this some kind of like, I don't know, like a planet alignment? Because I do have Polish roots, though I'm not Polish myself. So
Where
I
are you
think
from, by the way?
Hungary,
Okay,
Orbanistan, also known as nowadays.
gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah. But by the way, if anyone wants to know more about Hungary, check out Kraut's video about like dictatorship. There's this video. I don't know the title, but like he goes over all these countries, and Hungary is one of them. And I think he provides a very good breakdown of the situation. So
It looks,
yeah, but you know,
pretty
I'm
bad over there.
yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, it's basically okay. So the way I would describe Hungary is imagine I would say imagine Tucker Carlson as your president, and Alex Jones as the communication minister of the country. Like, and Alex Jones who does not have a profanity filter. So so and with your foreign minister being Ben Shapiro. So
yeah,
so that's Hungary currently.
really makes you appreciate the good old U.S. of A. Are you still there, by the way? Are you going to be beheaded for talking to me?
No, I'm a refugee in Germany.
Ah, okay, gotcha. Just making sure.
No. Like I got away from there. Yeah, because like the economy is in the shit. Like and like basically what's going on in Hungary right now is just like this socio-economic takeover of the country. Like basically Orban is turning the country into his private corporation essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, if I may, I have a video breaking down the 2050 migrant crisis, how basically like Orban let through more than 1 million people into Western Europe, hoping for political credit, and so that terrorist attacks will happen, and that his side of the political aisle will be strengthened. I made a whole breakdown of that. If you're interested, you can check it out on my channel. It's like title is like how Orban flooded the Europe with immigrants in the refugee crisis.
Yeah, because politically, the far right has always benefited from stuff like that because it's a tool for radicalization that they can use to. There it is. How Orban flooded. Oh, only 56K views. This should probably get way more.
Exactly. Yeah, like my heart kind of aches because of it, because I always thought that like that was one of my sort of like magnum opus. That's definitely a magnum opus of mine. Or at least that's how I felt at the time of making it. But yeah, so basically Orban, yeah, like people can watch the video, but yeah, the gist of it is that Orban didn't protect shit. He actively exacerbated the crisis. And then I haven't even talked about, I think, about this scheme in Hungary where you can basically purchase EU citizenship through like gray means. So with that, like 50,000 people of basically just like unknown origin got into the EU. So when these dumb fucks talk about like Viktor Orban, the savior of the white race, like I just go, okay, no, like. The funny thing is that like when the refugee crisis happened, like I was actually commuting to Budapest on the exact route that the migrants were taking, and I was like seeing hundreds every day, and I followed it like every single like daily. I was reading like hourly breakdowns from start to finish, and okay, and then of course I had a sort of accurate idea of how this whole thing was, and then I go online. This is like 2016 YouTube. Then I go online. And it's like Viktor Orban, the crusader, protected the white race, and it was like,
Viktor
what?
Orban, cuckslayer, yeah, vindicator of Western civilization,
yeah, Hungary uncucked. Yeah.
Which is funny, by the way, and I'm just guessing at this, but something tells me that there's a pretty large contingent of white supremacists who would not consider Viktor Orban white. I'm just saying, I've seen a lot of people bicker about like what makes a white person online, usually very racist people, and I'm just saying I feel like that if this guy was far left, they would be maligning his I don't know, what's the term, the what skull shapes are, you know?
Yeah, phrenology.
Chronology, thank you very much, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, but like, yeah, there's sort of like half-baked rumors that Orban might have some kind of Roma ancestors, which like no one cares
I'm
about.
sure that's a big
But
deal to them, yeah.
yeah, but like yeah, it's usually like funny thing is though, like it's usually like sort of mentioned by people on in the opposition, but it's not really popular because the opposition are largely not like racist people.
That is so fucking wild. The idea that I know that Europeans hate the Romani people. It's just really funny that that would
Mm.
I guess here in America we do that too. I mean, people made a big deal over Obama being black. People made a big deal
Yeah,
over JFK being Catholic.
yeah,
Biden's Catholic, I guess.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, but like
I'm interested in this video. If you don't mind me viciously stealing your views, you mind if I watch it with my audience sometime?
from Budapest, by all means, go ahead.
Gotcha. Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I was really glad to be on the Vosh show finally. Like it's once just to clarify, this is a fucking trip for me because like when I started my channel in like on like January 31st, I think that's when my first video went up. Like before then, I was actually watching your video about like want to become a YouTube creator. Here's my tips.
Oh my
And
god.
I was like, I remember like sitting on a train. I was like, had nothing to do. I was like, okay. Took a deep breath. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna make a channel and see what happens. So what does Vosh say about it? Yeah, it does. Fuck yeah, thank you.
That's actually like super flattering. By the way, the roles have been reversed. You're going to be twice my size in like 3 months. So don't yeah, I really appreciate the kind words, and I'm delighted and incredibly heartened by your success. Hopefully it's something that continues into the future. I have no doubt that it will. And if you're ever interested in talking in the future, then please do not hesitate to reach out.
Thank you. I'll keep that in mind. And yeah, I'll be in touch.
Have a wonderful day.
And you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, this is cool. I can't believe he watched my goddamn video and made his channel in part because of that. What the fuck? Jesus. Feel like this is one of those, it's like fractal inspiration, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just about what I do with my channel, it's what other people do with their channels because of my channel, you know?